Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Inside the Den. Now today we're going to take a look at Fallen Earth, and this is a free-to-play post-apocalyptic MMORPG with heavy emphasis on crafting. I say that because once you get in the game, it's pretty cool how basically almost every mission is focused on getting something or doing something in essence that's going to increase your crafting skills. But it's kind of, and they do a good job of involving this all into the role-playing in the game. And I have to tell you, from what I've seen, the community is very, very helpful. You know, you ask questions like, where do you do this? Or where do you, how do you move on to this level and stuff like that. And they're very helpful. But let's get started, and then you guys can see how all that works and stuff like that. You can see how my one character played a little bit. Now, level 4 is, it seems really low, but actually the experience gain in the game is fairly slow, at least till you get around where I am right now. And the reason I say that is, you start with very, very few quests, and then by the time you reach level 4, I mean, I have this character, I just have loads and loads of quests. But we're going to go through the character creation process, show you guys that, and then we'll jump into the game actually on my level 4 character so you guys can see it a little bit deeper. I'm not going to show you guys the tutorial in this game. I'll let you guys see that and run through that yourselves. So let's go create, and you see I have a lot of options here. So we're going to actually go with female, and then we're going to enter our name, and you guys know what name I'm going to choose. So no need to comment too much on that. And we can go straight to the random selection and start to get all kinds of different random stuff here. And we can also do random stuff as far as body and stuff like that. And let's zoom out so you guys can see what's going on there. You know what? That actually looks pretty good for the body. Let's go back to the random selection on the face, and let's zoom in and see what we've got here. So let's do a couple more randoms. Now you can drill down all of these different things that are going on, by selecting different faces, 1, 2, stuff like that, selecting different heads, and you can see you've got all the tons and tons of customization options, which is always cool to see, the tons of customization options, tons of different skin colors, eye color, all kinds of different stuff going on here. We'll go with that one. And age, we're gonna go a little bit. And you can see as you age, the wrinkles really come on. So we're gonna go with 0 on that one. And then you've got a bunch of different hair options. So, we're going to go with something a little more funky. I think that's kind of cool. And then you can see down at the bottom, on each of these different things, you've got, hair color, stuff like that. We're going to go with, we'll go with that purple. Why not? And then you start to get into some of the different tattoos and adornments, like the piercings and stuff like that. You can wipe these completely out and have nothing, or you can have, all kinds of crazy different stuff on there. We're not going to do too much there, but I'll let you guys jump into this type of stuff and really get into it and see all the different things that you can do. You see, you could do body scale, which basically is your height, body piercings. Basically, it's just belly button piercings, different ones, which is pretty funny that they don't have more. But I guess maybe that's because you don't see other areas where maybe the body would be pierced. And then you can see right here, you've got different right arm tattoos, left arm tattoos, stuff like that. And then you can zoom to face, zoom to body, and do that different stuff by just hitting that. Rotate around so you can check out your character. But I think we look pretty good there. That's pretty much it. Like I said, it does have a lot of customization options. You could sit here and really play with this a lot. But since there's no additional races, I mean, basically it's just human. This is what you see is what you get. So there's either male or female, and then you just kind of play with everything from there. And then if you, got too crazy and out of control, you can reset to default. But let's confirm all character slots are full. So basically, in the free-to-play version, you have one character slot. So I actually can't create this character because I have the other character, which is okay because I wasn't going to show you guys the tutorial anyways. But I highly recommend that you do the tutorial when you create your character. It teaches you a lot. There are a couple little nuances that we'll talk about once we get into the game that the tutorial really helped to clarify and explain and walk you through. Because the game, I mean, it's kind of a cross between an RPG. Actually, let's get out of here so we can jump into our character here. There's a couple of, like I said, little nuances that the tutorial helps you understand, because the game is really a cross kind of between a shooter and there's also you're going to carry multiple weapons, which I'll show you here in a second. And you'll be able to switch back and forth between those weapons, and throughout the game you're going to also be mining different items, whether they be nature type items like logs and wood and stuff like that, or they be cotton and leather and stuff like that, so you can make those different things. And this is one thing that they pop up every single time. We're going to go ahead and minimize that, and then you can move this wherever you want. So we have to jump back in. So not a big deal, but there we go. We're right back in the game. It doesn't matter where I move it. It seems to jump me out of the game and try and take me to upgrade. So, but here we are. We have the game, and you can see right here active recipes. So we'll get into the crafting portion of this just a little bit. You can see I've got 3 things that are finished. So we're going to complete all of these. And then once you complete them, you can see I'm actually getting bonus to AP. And the AP you actually use to skill up. Now you have basic abilities. We'll talk about those skill ups in a second. You have basic abilities, and then you see all those here. And then you've got mutations, which are different things like bolster. And you can see what you can highlight over these, and you can see what each of these are do. And they're basically little buffs or little abilities that you can use, like this disrupt. You can use it to shoot at a guy and use disrupt. And then these all do all kinds of different things. Once you get in the game, you're going to want to play with these and really figure out which ones you want to use when you're in different fighting situations. You can see here we've got our map, and we can click on AP right there where we saw the +3 come up. You may not have seen it because it was really small. But you'll get different. So you see I got 53. So I want to assign these. So what I do is I want to think, okay, well, what do I want to assign them to? Well, you go over all your statistics. You can go over your skills. You can go over those mutations like we were talking about, or you can go over your trade skills. And this gets really important because with your trade skills, there's certain trade skills that you want to actually have up to certain levels so you can create other stuff. So like, for example, like armorcraft. Well, I already have 15. Once you see I have something that I want to create that I need 15 in. So I don't need to I don't need to actually add anything there. So I'm going to actually go to my skills, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look at power. And I'm going to increase my power because basically what that will do is your power skill increases the damage you inflict with melee, pistol, and rifle weapons. And I use a lot of pistols and rifle weapons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and tell it how many points I want to put in there. And you can see it'll basically start taking AP and then tell me how many I have left. So I'm going to put a bunch in there because it increases the damage and all that good jazz. So yep, I want to increase all that, and there we go, bam. Now I'm also going to add to my precision so I'm a lot more precise when I fire. So let's put a bunch of points in there. That looks good. We'll drop that in there. And then I'm also going to put a bunch into rifle. So you can see right there. Let's keep going. And we max that out with what I have left. And there we go. So now when I go and I fire my rifle, that's all going to be much more powerful. But this is one of the balancing acts. You have to balance between statistics, your skills, your mutations, and your trade skills. Now your trade skills you can level up just by creating other items. So this doesn't really get, you can pay attention to it and use some different things here to increase these, but you really want to take and you really want to actually focus on just creating items. And you're gonna find so much stuff. Let me show you my bag. It is just loaded with stuff. I mean, you can see here, there's my bag. It's just loaded with different crap that I pick up all the time. And you can see right here, here's one of the recipes, but it says you've already learned this knowledge. But let's go into our trade skills. I know I'm focusing on a lot of this, but it's a real big part of the game. And you can see when I bring up my quest log, which is actually J for journal, there's a lot of skills there's a lot of quests in here that that have me running around do different stuff. But there's also one in here somewhere that has me wanting to make. So there you go, 40 crossbow bolts. So you can see a lot of these. There's a lot of these that want you to make different things. So you have to go ahead and go through that. But you know what? Before we do that, let's go to scaring off the varmint. Actually, we already completed that. Let's find one that's not complete. So let's see. Coy Roy. So Coy Roy, Vinny Hayes in South Burb wants you to find and kill a coyote named Coy Roy. All right, we can handle that. So now when you do get these quests, what's really cool is up here on the map, you can see there's a yellow X, which is a waypoint that I set. You can see there's a red X there, which is actually the waypoint for the actual quest. Now there's also this waypoint right here, and I'm going to head there first, and because I actually died, that's where my mount is. So I need to head out there. The game very early on gives you a horse to ride around on, and it saves you a ton of time running around on your horse. So when you die, if you're off your horse, then your horse just stays basically where you left him. Now we're going to head out that way, go get him, and I'm actually going to show you guys some of the other stuff while we're running out there. Now you can see there's different guys right here. Now to enter into the combat, this is one thing that took me a couple seconds to figure out. I was trying to click around and attack these guys. So you can target them like that, and you can move around and click all kinds of different stuff as you've got as you've got this cursor set up. But once you hit tab, you go into your combat mode or your aiming mode. And then once you've got your rifle, you can go ahead and zoom in. And then you could see the rifle has meters on it. Now, all of these different weapons will have a range essentially. So you're going to have a specific range that weapon is going to be good at. This weapon, for example, is good at range of 35. So we can go in here, we can take a look at, here's our gear. Actually, I created some hand wraps, so let me find those and equip them. It's pretty much the basic, I think it's this right here. Is that a hand wrap? It sure is. So there we go. We just right click, and then we can do different stuff, salvage, examine, or equip. We equip it, and there we go, it jumped right on there. So you can see I've got plenty of other spots for armor to add stuff, and got my shell toes kicking right there. So we're running into some survivalists, so we're going to actually take a couple of these guys out, because you can see they're in the way of my horse. He's actually down there. So let's cruise, see if we can sneak through these guys and get down to... Actually, my horse is supposed to be right here, and he's nowhere to be found. Awesome. So I ran all the way out here for no reason. All right, well, anyways, let's cruise off in the direction of our quest, so we can maybe get that completed. But, you know, before we get there, let's go ahead and let's fight some of these guys. So we're going to change everything to targeting, and then we're going to target on this guy, and you can see I'm at 29 meters. What's really cool is I can take a shot, a headshot, and if I get lucky, I actually hit a headshot, and there's a headshot, there's another one, and a third one. Now once they drop, you're going to want to switch back. It's easier to switch back to just the I guess you could say your mouse mode, and then just take all. You can actually do it from the aiming mode and go down like that until you highlight over the guy, and the little skull shows up so you can loot. But it's kind of a pain in the ass to have to look all the way down every single time. So it's a lot easier just to tab out. And that's one, it's kind of a cool little structure, but it takes a little bit of getting used to. Not too much, but a little bit. You can also use B to scope in and stuff like that, which is really cool. You can bring up your attributes and all the things we were talking about when we were manipulating those stats. You could bring that up with V. L actually brings up your different recipes. So you can see in here, we can go into our recipes, we can see, okay, well, we want to create a hat. So what do we got in hats? So we can create a headband, a bandana, and you can see here's the skill you need to actually create it. And you can see down here, to actually get hat instruction 2, we need to get to skill level 21 first. And then you can see, once you click on them, you'll see the components you need. Well, we want to go ahead and create a head wrap. So we're going to create that, and that goes into our queue, and right now it's pending. So it should actually get started here pretty quick. I'm not sure why it's still pending. It should usually a timer would start up right there, and it would just start actually creating it. So maybe one of you guys know why that's still pending, but not too big of a deal. But let's go off and find Coy Roy. Is that him? Nope, that's just a coyote. We're gonna take him out. And R, as usual, just like any other shooter game, will reload. You'll be able to reload your weapon just like that. Now what you can do is you can also take and you go to your gear, and you can see here under weapons, you can set different weapons for different controls. Right now, because I have this rifle out, that usually normally sits in control 1, but you can see I've got these different ones. So we're going to go ahead and zoom out of that, and so I can control 1 and switch over to my axe. And then, you know, if I'm in close combat, I can go ahead and use my axe and start wailing on people. Or I can go control 5 and control 6 and pull out my dueling pistols, which is pretty cool. And then once you get there, you don't have that zoom in feature anymore. So you can see right there, I'm cruising around with my dual pistols, and what I'm doing here, that's probably Coy Roy right there. So let's see if we can actually take a shot at him. There we go. So what you do is essentially based upon the right mouse click is which one of the weapons you use. So if you fire with the right button, you actually take and you fire the weapon in your right hand. The left button, you fire the weapon in your left hand. So pretty cool little system right there. But we completed our quest, so now we can cruise back and get our reward. So let's start running back that way while we take a look at some of this other stuff. So let's close out that. You've got your socials under O, which is basically your who's, your friends, your clans, your GMs, stuff like that. As you can see down in the bottom left-hand corner, the chat is very active, and a lot of people use the help just to talk. It's a very convenient channel. Everybody can talk to each other, and you can talk through different zones. So, but you'll see a lot of the chatter down there is always usually about crafting because, like I said, the game is really heavily focused on crafting. As you can see from graphically, it's very much set up. You know, you saw some survivalist stuff like that. You see all these little makeshift kind of shanty towns or whatever that people have kind of created from the post-apocalyptic. But hey, it's called Fallen Earth. You know, Earth has fallen, and you're in a new time, and you've got all these vagabonds and stuff like that. And you can see right there, some guy is talking about recipe crude sword and different things that you have to actually create one and stuff like that. So, but there's loads and loads of quests as you walk around. You can see on my little map right here, all of these little kind of green nuclear signs. They're all guys that'll actually give me a quest. So it looks like we needed to go back over here and talk to Vinny Hayes. There we go, to turn in our quest. So once we get close, we'll get a little button, and we're going to be able to do King Coyote. And there we go. We complete. We get 500 experience and move forward. Now, what's another thing that's pretty cool is you'll see right here you've got these little bars on either side of your mini map. Now, when you're kind of creeping around and you hear different sounds or stuff like that, depending on where the sound is coming from, one of these two will kind of go up, which is kind of a cool little feature. Something a little bit different, adds a little bit to the realism and all that good jazz. So it looks like our next quest, we need to go find 3 weak antiseptic, and we just follow our little red X and cruise off in that direction. We can bring up our much bigger maps. There you go. You've got the Grand Canyon Province, you've got the Plateau, you've got North Fields, you've got all these different maps, and then you can just go to overhead and you can see your local map. Now, the interesting part about that is when you actually start the game and you move when you move to your first area, you actually have the ability to choose from several different options, and how you base those different options depends upon which area that you start in. So it's pretty cool system, and it allows you to if you do start multiple characters, to start in all different places, check them out, not have every single character start in the same area in the same zone. You can see here there's a lot of quests that give you multiple trade skill books. You see one's nature kit schematics, and then we've got harvest reptile manual. So that allows me to harvest from reptiles. So let's see what we've got here. Ophelia, tell me more. And then accept. Am I full of? Do I have my quest log too big? Because it looks like I'm not getting this quest. So I'm guessing my quest log is full. When we go over to our quest log, let's see, where is it? J, that's right. I always press L. So used to some of those other games. So you can see we've got tons of quests here. So you know what? Let's actually go ahead and let's go get this weak antiseptic. I'm guessing we get it from Dr. Gale Ferrara. See you around. So awesome. So it looks like we get the weak antiseptic. We've got to get the weak antiseptic and then go back to her. Well, let's pick a different. Black fingerless gloves. All right. So there we go. This is the quest I was actually looking for earlier to show you guys. So you get quests like this that you actually have to create different items. And the reason that this one was kind of interesting to me was you'd see the black fingerless gloves. I actually have to get fingerless gloves first. So let's go ahead and create the fingerless gloves. And let's see if that actually starts. It's not. And once again, I still have no reason why. I don't understand why it's not starting. So let's try and abort the head wrap. Because I know when you're free player, you have a limited amount of actual crafting you could do. But I haven't played in like a day, so I don't know why I would actually be limited right now. So it looks like the abort's not working. So something is messed up with crafting right now. They did just do an update, so who knows what that's all about. But let's start cruising off in this other direction. Let's close all this crap and head off in this other direction. Start heading over here to our red X. You can see here's our mutation that we used, and we've got time remaining 24 hours or 23 hours and 46 minutes. So basically, I've been in here for about 14 minutes now. And you can see what it does. Power by 3, maximum stamina by 3. Ability reserves 10% of your gamma, so on and so forth. And then staunch wound. So it's kind of cool. Your buffs stay up there. The game overall, I mean, graphically, I would say the graphics are on par with a lot of other games. Maybe a little bit dated in comparison to some other games, but still, they're pretty cool as far as the post-apocalyptic games go. You have other ones out there like Global Agenda. I think it has that has probably a little bit higher graphics, but I still say that the graphics in this are pretty good. The only thing I would say, maybe little bit of a tune-up, but not too much. Sound-wise, they're mostly turned down, but the sound effects are pretty good. You have background music that is going on. I love the fact that it goes from day to night, usually about every 4 hours. So it takes about 4 hours to go through the full cycle of a day or a night, and then you're back into a day or night. I believe it's about 4 hours. So all those things are pretty cool. I think the crafting system is really, really well done. I expect it to be so, especially since it's such a primary focus of the game. User interface wise, I think everything is nice and clean. Like I can close this and I don't have to have that there. I can minimize this and, you know, kind of get that out of the way. I can take and get rid of that. So I can have a really clean system, see a lot of the game as it's meant to be seen, and not have any interface just other than, you know, some of these small things down here and some of these menu options down here, which are the basics. You know, you've got help tips, you've got options. We can bring up the little help tip. Looks like that's not coming up. We could bring up our attributes right there. We could bring up blood sports, which I actually have to reach a higher level to enter into the blood sports, which is your PvP, which the PvP in the game is supposed to be really, really good. Haven't gotten that far as said, but everything I've read, everything I've seen people talk about, the PvP is really good. Bring up our gear, which you guys saw. You also have a wardrobe, so you can kind of have different stuff. You can change your hairstyle. You can see some of your statistics and your resistances and stuff like that. I definitely recommend keeping track of your horse and your mount. As you can see, I'm running around right now and it's taking a long time. That gets cut way down when you have your horse and you're running around. The management of your backpack does get a little tricky, specifically because you just start picking up so much stuff because there's so much stuff that goes with the crafting system and so much of the stuff that you actually need. So I highly recommend that you pay attention to your backpack. Like I said, the leveling is a little bit slow, but that's okay because, you know, you spend so much time in certain areas and they're really, really vast. As you can see, I mean, I've been running this entire time and we're still cruising in the direction of our red X to find this guy that's talked to Jeffrey Baylor, go to the Embry Crossroads, speak to Jeffrey Baylor. Now, I know there is a teleport system, so I may have been able to use that, and one of you guys is probably going to give me a hard time about it because I didn't use it, but that's okay. I'll live. I had a bunch of stuff to show you guys anyways while we were making this run. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's trip inside the den. Don't forget to subscribe and keep yourself updated as each new episode is released. If you'd like to play or learn more about Fallen Earth, you can read our full review at MMODen.com or just click the link in the description. Till next time, thanks for watching.